So today on the Marketing Scoop with Good Intents Marketing, I just want to welcome you. My name is Stephanie Hoskins, and I am the owner and CEO of Good Intents Marketing. And our mission is really to empower and encourage business owners and nonprofits with their own mission and vision. So using those elements to really grow and engage and just increase that visibility that you have online. So today, our marketing scoop is about design and experience and how that can really impact the bottom line for your business or nonprofit. And on this page, you see you keep the customer in mind. So that's really exciting to dig into, and it's going to be a fast one because honestly, when you're designing a website, it should be simple. It should be fun and improving that customer awareness, because they may not actually know all about you when they land on your pages. All right. So our main topics today are website design, the user experience, technology then versus now, the importance of design, facts and figures, and the effects of good design. And I will just share with you that although I am not the expert website designer, I have quite an experience dating back to, 2005 of website design and content marketing and creating a fluid experience for customers to increase sales or getting them into your funnel. So lots of knowledge, but I will tell you that when it comes to actual website design, I would prefer someone else to do it. I can help along the way, but definitely not one of my favorite things to do. Okay, so on website design, your home page is not the only door to your website. And what I mean by this is that often business owners and marketing professionals know that that's not the case. Yet, they start to think that had an issue with my speakers. There we go. Okay, so hopefully you can hear me. So that home page is not necessarily the front door of your business or website. So nowadays, Google, the search results page is really that first impression, and your Google My Business profile becomes that new home page for your company and business. So, and then when on those pages, all the pages, say you have maybe you have a small website, it's only 3 pages, and the first page is really where your customer is going to get a lot of the information you want to deliver to them about your services or offerings. And you have to ask yourself 2 questions. Is it confusing? And will it be user friendly? So there are sites that are ginormous, so one that I'm familiar with, it's over 385 pages, I believe, and I'm sure it's more than that now. But the last time I took a peek at it, it's pretty large for a local business. And, you have to make sure that the information a customer happens by chance to land on is going to be fruitful. So always remember, in your design, in every page, is it confusing and will it be user friendly? And so that really is something that you can implement across the board. Your headers and footers can be key elements in explaining exactly what your business is all about. And then there's other elements to design that you can really increase that awareness. But the content on the page, there's other tips and tricks we're going to go through. So your user experience. Alleviate confusion with relevant, unique title elements, descriptions, and keyword-specific URL naming conventions. And I love naming conventions. I am like, that's one of my big things is, you know, if I were to search for it on my file drive or shared drive, did I name it like intuitively? And so when you're building your websites and your unique landing pages, you need to have intuitive naming conventions. And it's super important for your customers, like something you might understand internally, like store 1, 2, 3, 4 will not resonate with your customer. They will not know your store numbers unless, you know, maybe they have previous experience or they really analyze their receipts. So when you're talking about a small business, you know, those titles and page names, just the description behind them, it needs to be relevant and it needs to make sense to the consumer, not to the business. I know we all operate our businesses differently, but when you talk to your customers, you pick up on their lingo and, you know, recognize the demographics involved. So when you alleviate that confusion on every page, this allows your customers to know exactly what they're going to be clicking on and what to expect. And the great thing about, if you're really paying attention to all of this, this is like not just user experience, it's SEO. So it's going to help you get a higher amount of visibility, a larger volume of visibility, because you're really putting that thought into all the metadata. All right, so don't forget to add unique page images to your content for this as well. Not just social sharing, but also Google Images. An image on a page isn't like a huge deal for search results, but we know that on Google, you can search by images. So if someone is searching for mental health awareness and you have multiple pages of mental health awareness, don't just use the same image, use different images. Make sure you're tagging that with alt text, providing captions and descriptions, because that will help you in the Google image search results. It's probably not going to really affect your search results just on the basic search results, but this is just something to keep in mind, especially when your customers, like say you have a Facebook business page and you are sharing information. You don't want every page to be your logo. You want it to be unique to the content you're sharing. So you know, there is a little bit of, I've seen this before where people copy posts or copy pages to expedite the creation of it and keep the same template and same like design flow. But if you're not updating those tags and titles and images, there's going to be a little bit of confusion. So it's just one of those things like in the back of your mind to put on the to-do list. And that's basically called open graph tagging. It's just meaning that your sharing content will carry a relevant image, title, and description. Okay, then versus now. When was the first website created? August 6, 1991. And do you know what it was? Does anybody know what it is? It was a website on how to use the World Wide Web, which is kind of funny to me. I just think that's really, really funny. And it went through and it explained all that. So if you think about that, 1991, the websites that are way back It's only 30 years ago. 30 years old. That's a baby. That's a youngin. So and just imagine how much has changed in the technologies and the World Wide Web. I mean, www, nobody even calls it that anymore. You just say your name and .com or .org or whatever. So much has changed. And 15 years ago, a multi-page site was mostly static. You just scrolled through and you read it like a novel. And nowadays, well, gosh, there's 1.9 billion websites, and they are more dynamic, more robust, and they do things. I mean, I 20 years ago, I would have never thought possible. So I've been in the marketing realm since 2005, and literally they're completely different. The way we design websites, one, it's easier. Two, there's so much technology available to integrate into the website. So it's really incredible. You're able to collect data, you're able to automate transactions and experiences, and it's just mind-blowing what you can do nowadays with a website. And I love it, but that is the difference. So the point of this is things are constantly changing. So when you are designing or you're thinking about redesigning or refreshing your current website, there's some things that you want to keep in the back of your mind, like, I need to keep this updated. I need to stay on top of trends. And so it's just one of those fun things that, 30 years ago, it's just mind-blowing to me how many websites we have out there and what they're all capable of nowadays. Okay, the importance of design. More often than not, 50% of your website traffic will leave before going to another page. So whatever page they land on, they bounce right off. 50%. That's insane. So how do we decrease that? How do we make our bounce rates lower, and keep people coming back for more? How do you do that with design? You got to make a good first impression. Introducing your site, your relevancy to a search or linked mention, and why the visitors should stick around. Every page, you have to have that consideration in the back of your mind when you're developing or designing a website. Secondly, I would highly recommend installing Google Analytics. There's a wealth of information there. Not only will you be able to review the user flow, which tells you exactly how a customer flows throughout your website or traverses pages, like where they land. This data is going to really help you diagnose maybe broken pieces or where there's room for improvement, or better yet, it's going to really enlighten you on which pages you should have that call to action or some type of funnel created. So Google Analytics, super important to have installed, as well as making sure that you've got the performance metrics in place. And then create logical calls to action on those top pages. So generally, when I'm analyzing a website and looking at it for a refresh or redesign, I like to know what I'm working with so that I know what those customers are currently experiencing and how they use the website, and then how to make it even better with that relaunch. So those logical calls to action, super important in knowing which pages customers are finding organically first. You got to exploit that really for the benefit of your business. And then also incorporate a CRM or forms to help better understand your customers. So I really highly recommend almost every new website I've been building recently, I go ahead and install a CRM. Whether or not the customer wants to turn it on, that's up to them. Whether or not they want the implementation side of it, completely up to them. but it's there just in case, because, like I said, websites are just babies now. They're 30 years old, and more often than not, every business is creating a new website, and there are startups all around us all the time. And when they start that website, it's better than having a simple form introduced that you have to download a spreadsheet and then import into your contacts and all that business. Just integrate, just be comfortable. If you're not comfortable with the technology, find someone that is. I love CRMs. I think they're really fun to play with and to automate messaging. And it just makes life a little bit easier for your business as well as your staff. Okay. Fun facts. 8 seconds. 8 seconds. That is what our average attention span is at right now. It was 12 maybe a few years ago, but we're down to 8 seconds. I mean, it's fast. So most bull riders don't even stay on 8 seconds. You're a winner if you do, right? So you have 8 seconds to make that first impression. 7 out of 10 customers find the company from their blog. A lot of companies have gotten away from writing blogs because it's just tedious and time consuming. But, honestly, if you have content that you're posting on social media or you're sharing with your customers, make it a part of your blog plan, like your content strategy plan. It doesn't have to be long. And then I'm going to go ahead and skip over here to the other side of the screen. Lists are better than paragraphs. So if you don't like it, or you don't have the staff, the number of bodies in the office to actually write a blog, make lists, make it easy for people, create some simple tools that they'll find useful for your customers. Additionally, demographics. This is a huge one for design. Your demographics play the largest role in user behavior. So your tastes oftentimes align with your customer, but when you create something that's more, I don't like the word polarizing, but if you create something and you're sharing things that are really off the spectrum of just simple, basic design and user flow, you're probably going to alienate your customer. So on Google Analytics, you can actually see how many females, how many males, who uses their tablet or mobile device, what age they are, where they're located. All these things are available to you in Google Analytics. And I would say they should play a huge role in how you're going to design your website and how it will function, how the content is written. All these things play a critical role in making the best website. Okay, so 2/3 web usage is 2/3 made up of mobile devices. So when you're building a website today, you have to build it with a mobile device in mind. Okay, if you're building it thinking that someone is going to use their desktop or laptop, there are some companies that primarily their user base is using their desktop. But I can tell you that even then, people are going to be on their phone when researching and looking at search results. And you want to make sure that when they click through, that they can pull up your website mobilely and that it's functional. There's no user experience glitches, like maybe it's too sensitive or the menu doesn't show correctly. These are all elements that you have to take into consideration and put them first of mind, top of mind, because 2/3 of everyone who visits a website is on a mobile phone, which is just mind-blowing. 3 out of 4 that users, their perception of your company or your organization is influenced by that web design. So web design really does make an impact, an impression. It sets the tone for that customer, and you want it to be a good one. So make sure you have lots of eyes on your website design process before you get deep into it and too far. The design has come too far to make modifications to meet your customers' needs. Okay, so what are the effects of good design? Obviously, you're going to increase web traffic. You're going to improve click-through rates. You're going to lower your bounce rate. You're going to increase time on the site, increase pages per visit, increase conversions, your sales, your form completions, your donations, your downloads, whatever that is. Like these are the effects of good design. And then my favorite, which I think everyone would agree, is that a good website and a good design, and when the content is on point, you're going to have more of those first time visit conversions. And that's super exciting because that's what you want. You want someone to land on the page because you are meeting their immediate need and they are prompted to make that purchase or to make that gift. So those are the effects of good design, not to mention being really proud of your website. Okay, so here's just a quote from Paul Rand. Design is the silent ambassador of your brand. And I guess when I say this, part of me is like, okay, you can be really super creative and just like that really creative mind, and everything you pump out is beautiful. It's on brand. It resonates with your customer. But I think probably 90+% of probably small businesses and nonprofits don't have the resources to always stay on brand. But there are simple things you can do to help that. Create a brand kit, a simple one. It doesn't have to be 10 pages or however big. It literally could be a one-pager, but it could be distributed internally within your nonprofit or within your volunteer base, within your staff, your FTEs, your full-time employees, just sharing with them the logo, not to manipulate it, not to stretch it, the colors, the color codes, the text type, these pictures that are okay to use, pictures that you would prefer not to be used, how to get lighting correctly. I mean, design truly is the silent ambassador of your brand. And when you use templates, you make life easier for you, not only your employee base, but your customer base, to recognize professionalism and expertise. So, just keep that in mind. When you're designing your website, you want to stay on brand. You want to really hit that message, that mission and vision home, and make sure that it's almost self-explanatory, if that helps. Okay, so I have questions and answers, but I don't have anybody on the call today. So it's been fun sharing all this with you. If you have any questions after you watch this video, you are more than welcome to email me. It is Stephanie@good-intense.com. And you can check us out on the web. It's good-intense.com.